Well, this region, you know, we know everyone knows it's a coal region, and they also know we have churches on every corner, church picnics, but this book does not have, it's secular. There's no religious implications or anything in this. However, you have a little secret in there that you've put in there that you said people have not found it yet so far. Tell me a little bit about that. There's something people can look for in this.
Well, anyway, I put in the book deliberately, there is one word or number that has a biblical connection.
Okay.
And so far, anybody that has read it, and I've questioned them, and they haven't picked out what that word or number is. But it does have a biblical connection.
Okay.
And I think when they find out what it is, they'll be surprised.
And no one's even come close? They just don't have an idea, do they?
No. Well, this business about my daughter.
She had an idea.
Well, she had an idea. She came up with the number 5, and I said, "How'd you come up with that?" And she said, "Well, the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, has 5 parts: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy." And she said, "The book has 5 parts." I said, "That's right." And she said, "The beginning is Genesis, the beginning of the book. Exodus is when George leaves his house in Chicago, goes out into the world. The 3rd part is Leviticus, where there's sacrifice, and there is sacrifice in that section. And the 4th part is Numbers, lots of numbers in that particular section. And the 5th part is Deuteronomy, which is where the 10 Commandments, and that's where atonement comes up. And there is atonement in the book." So I thought that was a pretty clear, but it's not the number that I was looking for.
But she wasn't right.
It's not the answer I was looking for, but I said I will accept that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, she gets some real credit for that.
Right,
so
exactly,
you gave it real thought.
Yeah.
But that wasn't what you were looking for. So people out there reading the book should be looking for a number or a word.
Or a word, right.
That has a biblical connection. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting, because to enjoy the story and then kind of maybe even have them go back and see if they could find it.
Yeah.
That was now. Let me just close with this. Why did you put that in there? Was that just something you wanted to have people just find something in addition to reading the story, just something that they could find in there?
Well, yes, I probably had that in mind. It was sort of my secret.
That's nice.
Yeah, just to throw it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice idea.
Because I could have used, there were a couple other choices that I had, and I thought, I'm going to do this. This is clever, I thought, maybe, you know. But it's fun. It's been fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. I read in something that in the press kit that we got from you about, it's not so much about the challenges that people face, but how they face them, kind of. You want some people to get something like that out of it, too? Like,
yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah. So they can learn from this, not just enjoy a story, but they can learn from it.
Yeah, it's
so
really,
would you say, even though it's your alter ego, is there anything about George that you think you guys have in common?
I don't want to.
Or you don't want to reveal that, right?
But there may be some situations in the book that were my personal experiences.
Okay.
But I would
but you're
say
not revealing that.
Somebody will, the reader will have to. I'm not going to disclose that.
Okay, all right.
It might be too embarrassing to me. You know.
Well, it's great that you had this outlet, and it's wonderful that after 50 years of being put away that you brought it out. I think it's fabulous that you did this. The book is called Coal Dust is White. It's available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble, and I can't wait to read it.
I think you'll find it interesting.
I grew up in Scranton, so I know about the whole region, but again, I don't think you need to know about that at all to enjoy, I'm sure, of the sound of it. It's going to be a great story. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Irwin. It was a pleasure talking with you.
It was a pleasure talking with you, too.
One last question. Do you think you have any more stories in you?
Well, I'll tell you, it's funny. A number of people who have read it want me to write a sequel.
Okay,
and,
so that's good.
That I don't know whether I can do or not. It depends on time and, you know.
Sure. Well, with today's ebooks, which it is available as an ebook for both formats, Kindle and the Nook, you could probably write one and get it up there even quicker than this one. Well, 50 years is a long time, right?
Yeah, I won't live that long.
Well, I'm sure you have another book in you, though. Again, it's Coal Dust is White by Irwin Sagenkahn. Thank you so much for coming in. It was a pleasure.
Okay. It's a pleasure talking to you, too, Jeannine.
Thank you. Join us after the break.